Hi everybody, it's Gina K, and I am so excited to see you here tonight. So many of you have already jumped into the chat, and I'd like to welcome you all from all over the country, all over the world. I see people coming in from just about everywhere. That's so exciting. Well, I am so excited to spend Friday night with you guys. It's been a heck of a week, hasn't it? Whew. I have I had to light a new candle. I burned my other candles down to just about nothing. So I started a new one, but I'm running short of candles. I don't know, candles relax me, so I might have to order some. So I want to tell you what I ordered today. Today, oh, look at all everybody coming in. Hi everybody. Um, Today I ordered, well, actually, I ordered them last night. I was kind of sleep ordering. Do you ever do that where you're laying in bed with your iPhone or your iPad or whatever tablet you're using or phone, and you start scrolling and looking at things, and all of a sudden you wake up and you ordered something and you don't remember? But this was a good thing because I'm going to try something new, and I'm wondering if any of you guys would like to join me. I ordered seeds, and I ordered a bag of potting soil, and I ordered some little containers to put the seeds in the potting soil. I have always wanted to plant a garden, and probably a lot of you are really good at that and already know, so I'll be asking you guys for advice over on Facebook. But I thought this is a perfect time for me to try it, right? You need a little bit of time to plant a garden, and we're about, I don't know, 12, maybe 14 weeks from the final frost here in Wisconsin. So by the time I get all my stuff and I start my seedlings, I can have them ready to go. I guess they say up here in Wisconsin, you shouldn't plant anything in the ground until right after Memorial Day. So I'm going to give it a try. So for those of you who are great gardeners, oh, what kind of seeds? Well, I bought like seeds for salad, like different kinds of lettuce. I got some beans, some peppers, and tomatoes. You know, I have to have tomatoes because I'm Italian, and I make sauce all the time. That's kind of what we live on. That's our staple. So lots of Roma tomatoes and some herbs, basil, some oregano. I've never even tried fresh oregano, so I'm kind of excited about it. I think it'll be fun, but I'm going to need your advice. So that's what I did yesterday. I sleep ordered seeds, potting soil, and little pots. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to show you is this stuff. This is really cool. Have any of you tried Naked Bee hand and body lotion? This I got at a store that Rena and I taught at called the Doodlebug in Jasper, Indiana. And Hannah, the owner of the Doodlebug, had this, and she told me about it, and she said it's really good because it's not greasy, so you can use it when paper dries out your hands, and it doesn't leave any oil or anything on the paper. So it's really nice. It's all natural. It's got an orange blossom scent to it. So that is something new that I am using. I bought it at the Doodlebug in Jasper, Indiana, the Naked Bee. Okay, so what else? Oh, so I don't know if you guys saw our YouTube video this week. Rena and I did a video together. It's over on her YouTube channel. So for those of you coming in from YouTube, check out Rena K Designs. I actually had a couple people ask me if that was somebody knocking off my name. And the answer to that is yes. It is, but it's my daughter, so it's okay. She and I did a video together yesterday that she posted on her Facebook page, not on my page, and it's all about doing glitter gel backgrounds. And I will be doing, she gave me some of her cards, and I'll be doing a couple cards with the backgrounds we made, and I'll be getting those up on my blog. So you can check them out over there. And I'll also post them in our Facebook group because any cards I make, I usually post over there. Well, tonight we're going to have some fun. We are going to use some colored pencils. And for those of you that are good at blending colored pencils, that's awesome. I'm not that great at it, so I like to use Gamsol to blend it. Now, if you don't have any Gamsol, I've heard that baby oil works really well. I've also seen people use like a Prismacolor blending marker. Sorry, that's my dog barking in the background. A Prismacolor blending marker, which is similar to a Copic blender. Now, I wouldn't go with the good side of your Copic marker. You might want to try it with the chisel side and see if it moves the wax around. But basically what Gamsol does, and this is the little bottle I have, it's by Gamblin. I got mine at one of the big box art stores that we have in town here, Blick. But you can get it. They do have it at big box stores. They have it at fine art stores. They have it at a lot of your local stores. So if you're shopping local, a lot of stores are still doing curbside pickup. So you can call and see if you can get it. And if not, they definitely have it at Simon Says Stamp and some of the other big online retailers. So Gamsol is what it is. And what it does is, and I said it wrong last time, and somebody who understood science corrected me, and now I can't remember what she told me because that's how my brain is. But Gamsol basically breaks down the wax in the pencils. And so when you use it, it hits the wax in the pencil, it breaks it down and softens it and allows it to get more liquidy, and it moves it. So that's what Gamsol does, and we're going to do that together. Now, because it's Flashback Friday, I wanted to use a couple of older sets. So these are old stamp sets, and they're all mini sets. So one of them, I know I'm going to use this one first. This one is called You Make Me Smile. So I'm going to use this one first. Nice flower set. I'm definitely going to use the All About You greeting set. This set is perfect because I heard that some people are making cards for nurses and doctors at their local hospitals. And I'm not exactly sure how you go about doing that, but I was just thinking about sending it to maybe the ER nurses station and the critical care unit, to that attention, and maybe making some cards, a variety of them, thanking the doctors and nurses and respiratory techs and everybody else involved in all the care that they're giving to our community. And then the other one that I thought I would use is possibly Heartfelt Hydrangea if we have enough time. I'm a little slow at coloring, so we might only get one card in tonight, but I'm going to do my best, so we'll see what happens. Okay, so let me bring in my other camera here. And first I'm going to get my Misty, and I'll bring in this camera. Okay, so I have my Misty here, and I have some white cardstock. Now, I wanted to explain, because a lot of you are very curious about our amalgam ink and what the difference between our amalgam ink and our regular black onyx ink is. If you have both of these inks, they're easy to tell the difference because this has more of like a molecular graphic on it, and this has more of a swirl. And this one is like our regular dye ink. Now, dye ink is great. It's a water-based ink, which means that you can use our dye ink for nice, solid color. If you wanted to stamp something in black and it was a solid image, our black onyx, great for that. But it's also great for Copic markers because it's a water-based ink, and water will not move if you use it with a Copic marker, because a Copic marker is an alcohol base, not a water base, so they don't bother each other and it won't smear. Now, our amalgam ink is a little different. Our amalgam ink will work with Copic markers, but it will also work with watercolor, and it will work with colored pencils and Gamsol. So you can use this ink with just about anything. So for those of you that like that one ink that does it all, this is the one. Tom and I have a little camper, and we like to camp. And of course, when I camp, I like to do what all campers do. I like to color. So I set up myself with my colored pencils, my amalgam ink. I have a few alcohol markers in there, and I have a couple mini stamp sets that I like to color, and I just stamp them, and I have my mini Misty. And one tidy towel, and away I go. It's a tiny little setup, and I get to color on the road. Now, that being said, my big pack of colored pencils is in my camper, and so I can't get it right now. So I do have just a handful of pencils here that I use most of the time. So I want to show you. These are my handful of pencils. Really don't need a lot of pencils. This actually is pretty much all the pencils out of that whole 132 that I have. This is pretty much all of them that I use. And when I say all of them, I mean like 6. That's what I use. I'm so, yes, somebody just said zest it. I'll get to that. Thank you so much, Artistically Creative. I'm going to, ooh, I like the color. Oh, thank you so much, Marjorie. Yes, Rena's Electropop colors are so much fun. Yes, Artistically Creative said zest it, and I'll tell you about zest it in just a minute. And that's a comment coming in from YouTube. All right, so I will talk to you about that in a minute. But colored pencils, I find myself using the same few colors all the time in my coloring. So really, if you have just a handful of colors, you have enough. Now, Zest It is another product that I first heard about from the amazing Lydia Fiedler. You might know her on Facebook and YouTube as Understand Blue. That's the name of her blog. She's amazing. And she told me about Zest It for the first time. And Zest It is a product that you can get in the UK. I actually talked to them about setting up an account with them because it is a product similar to Gamsol, but it's made from like oranges. So it doesn't have any like chemical in it at all. It's really neat. And they sent me a sample and I loved it. And so that is definitely something I'm going to add to our store down the line once everything settles down a little and we can get products from overseas. But in the meantime, let's see, Gamsol works really well. So the first set that I'm going to use is You Make Me Smile. I like this flower. I use this flower a lot with watercolor, and the way I like to watercolor is to emboss first because then I can watercolor and it doesn't go outside of the lines. That's kind of the cheater's way to watercolor, and I love it. So I'm going to use this, though, with the amalgam ink. So I'm just going to place that in the bottom corner. And, ooh, Sharon likes camping, too. You're going to upgrade your little camper this year? We'll get out. Don't worry. We're going to be out by the summer. I know it. We're going to be out before then. I have faith. I'm going to have faith through all this. And I'm going to use the amalgam ink for this. And none of our black inks stain your stamps, but I do recommend that you clean them really well right away, right after you use it. Now, I don't always do that, so some of my stamps may look a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit more dirty because I'm not very good at cleaning. So I'm also not very good at pressure today. I have been packing a lot of orders, guys. I don't know if any of you have gotten any orders and have seen my name come across on the little box that says who packed or picked your order, but I'm helping. It's just Tom and I. So we're very slow, but we're getting it done little by little, and we really, really appreciate your orders because you guys are keeping us alive. We appreciate it. Okay, so I'm going to clean this stamp because I want to make sure that I do what I said I was going to do. And then I'm also going to clean my Misty because I have a little amalgam ink on there. Amalgam ink isn't a real toxic ink. You can see that stamp is well loved. But so when I say toxic, I don't mean toxic. That's the wrong word. It's not a stainy ink. Like it didn't stain my Misty matte. I was able to wipe it right off. The reason why this stamp is stained is because I'm not always very good about cleaning them. And I don't mind because a stained stamp is a loved stamp, right? Let me take a look at some of your comments here. Oh, we've got people from Denmark. Hello, hello. This is so nice. And then I have so many of my friends from right here, right in Greendale, where our store is, and they're now joining us online, which I love because I miss doing our scrappy hours and having everybody there. So I stamped this one in amalgam ink. You can heat set this if you really want to get going right away. I usually stamp a whole bunch of them. By the time the last one is stamped, the first one is plenty dry to start to use. But what I did was, and I want to show you this, I have a new layout here. I stamped one a little bit earlier and then I cut it down so it's smaller. So I cut the side off and the bottom off. And this measurement is 3.5 inches by 3.5 inches by 4 3/4 inches. Now this is a 1/2 inch smaller than my usual layout, but I want to show you how pretty this looks. So I was playing with a layout today, and don't you like the way this looks? Look at this. Here's my card base. Isn't that nice, just having that bigger, wider, colorful border? So I thought I would do that tonight, since these cards are going to be so simple. They're just going to be colored and that's it. Now, if you trust yourself, you can put your greeting on at the end. I don't trust myself. I don't want to color this whole thing and then mess up the greeting. So I'm going to stamp the greeting right away. And I suggest that you guys do that too, even if you're really great at stamping and even if you have a MISTI, just in case. Now, the other thing is, if you aren't like that and you're like, oh, I'll stamp it at the end, and then you do mess it up, you can always cut a little panel out and pop it up. But here's some of the greetings that I think would be great for nurses and doctors. I don't know what I'd do without you. You're such a wonderful person. The world is a better place because of you. So which one do you think? You're such a wonderful person? I think that one, because, man, they are so wonderful, nurses and doctors. So I'm going to do that one for this card. Let's see if I can line it up straight. I got to lean over here because my phone is in the way. Okay, sorry. My roots are getting bad. I'll try not to do that again. I don't want to scare anybody. So for greetings, I really like to use ink cubes. So I'm going to use this tiny little ink cube. And since I'm going to be making a couple of these, I'll use all of the greetings. I don't know if I'll make them all on camera, but I'm definitely going to make a few of these for the nurses and doctors in our community. So I definitely will use those other greetings we talked about. Okay, so now I have my greeting. That's going to be my card. Now, for those of you that aren't big into coloring, you can use a line art stamp like this, and you can just take some blending ink and just lightly blend over the flowers with a pink or a purple and blend over the leaves and just have loose color. That's a way to make quick cards with this. You can also emboss them with white embossing powder and do an emboss resist technique. I have my chair here, so I am going to sit down for this. Now for color, I think I'm going to do some pink. So one thing I wanted to show you is when I'm trying to figure out what color is going to look good with my card base, which is this color, I have just a piece of the same cardstock that I am using to color. And for those of you that want to know what cardstock I'm using, when I use Gamsol, I really like to use our Pure Luxury Layering Weight White. And the reason why I like that is because it is so super smooth that the Gamsol just blends easily across. Debbie, I put up your comment so people could see it. Thank you so much. Drop cards off at the door. Just put on an envelope the names like units, ED, operating room. Awesome. Thank you so much. So Debbie's comment is in the comments, and that was a Facebook comment. That one came in from Facebook. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to take a scrap of the same piece of paper, and then I'll pick 2 or 3 different pencils, and I like to not only color them, but I like to use the Gamsol with them to see what color they blend up to. So I'm going to try a little bit of this color. Now that color looks really nice with the bubblegum pink card base, but it might blend up a little bit too light. So that one is rose. This one is magenta. And this one is, I can't read in that language. Okay, process red. Okay, I think some of them are in French. All right, now I'm going to use a blending stump. And if you've never used a blending stump before, I highly recommend Creative Mark blending stumps. I really like them because they are, they're made in Taiwan, and they are a little bit looser. I don't know if that's the right way to explain it, but they're not so compact. So they're a little bit softer. And because of that, they pick up the Gamsol easier and they spread the wax around a lot more easily. Some of the ones that come from China, they're very, very hard and they don't absorb enough of the wax. So if you're having trouble, the other thing that you can do, and it really helps even the ones that come from China, is to take a nail file and file. See, this is, I've used this one already. You can see the turquoise on there. But the way to clean it and the way to prep it, this side has never been used. We'll start with the prep side. This side has never been used, so it's got kind of this little extra thing on the end. What I'm going to do is I'm going to file, and as I file, I'm going to turn the blending stump. And that keeps the point going. And can you see this is starting to almost come off? So I'm going to keep doing that until that is pretty much gone. And that, it kind of makes it more porous because it's kind of roughed up a little bit, and now it's going to blend a lot better because it's going to grab more Gamsol. Now, once I'm done the color, like I have this turquoise on here, you can file off the color the same exact way so it doesn't contaminate your next color. But just make sure you're turning the blending stump as you do this, because that keeps it to a nice point. As you're turning it, it's actually kind of acting like a pencil sharpener almost. But I wouldn't put these in your pencil sharpener. Speaking of pencil sharpeners, I do have this little iPoint Orbit pencil sharpener. I really like this one because it has a battery and I can take it to the couch and sit there and not have to worry about plugging it in. But I do have the electric one too. So when I'm working at my desk, I tend to use that more, but I don't have that one out. I wanted to show you this one. And this works really easily. You just push the pencil down and it almost stops when it comes to a point, and you can see, here, let's see if I can show you, it comes to a real nice point. And we all know Kathy Rakusin and Lydia Fiedler. Well, Kathy Rakusin especially, she's always saying, make sure that you always have a super sharp point. But I know Lydia would agree. And I don't know if you guys saw, but they're actually going to be doing some lives, which sound really fun. They're going to be doing some coloring lives together. And I think it's something you sign up for, and then you're like part of this class. So you should check out both Understand Blue and the Rack on Instagram, and they're going to have some signups going on. So that's really fun. Okay, so I just put a little bit of Gamsol into this cup. This is the cup that I use for my Gamsol, and you can see it's kind of, it's shallow and it's wide. This way I won't knock it over. So for those of you that were thinking about using a shot glass, don't use a shot glass. Drink your shot from the shot glass and use something more shallow. So I'm going to just start here by dipping my blending stump in. And once I dip it in, you can see you want to make sure that you get enough liquid on it. Don't do this when you're dipping like that. You're not going to get enough Gamsol on there. Put the stump in there and let the Gamsol suck up a little bit into the blending stump. Okay, somebody just said something about Lydia and I missed it. Is she having, oh, Lydia's having a Facebook class group during this pandemic mess. Yes, she is. She's having a Facebook class group. And then I know that she and Kathy are doing something together. So you see, I put the blending stump right over the wax, and now I'm pulling it down, and you can see it's starting to get lighter as I pull it down. And that's what I wanted to see. Is that a good color, or is that a little too peachy? That looks kind of nice. Let me try the next one. I'm going kind of lightest to darkest, so I don't have to worry about cleaning my blending stump. Well, that's really pretty too. Look how light that gets, but you really get a lot of dark in there. So that might be nice for down near the base of the flowers. And then this one seems really almost kind of hot pink. I think this one's going to be too pink for me. Yeah, I think that's a little too purpley pink for me. So I'm going to go with the middle one, which was Process Red, or was it Magenta? Wait a minute, let me color again. They flipped around. To do it again. I think the Process Red, oh no, the Magenta was the one. Yeah, that's magenta. Okay, so I'm going to use magenta. So I'm going to start with the magenta. I'm going to sharpen that again. Make sure I'm starting nice and sharp. And I'm going to, it's so hot in my house tonight. My daughter, Alicia, turned the heat up because she's always cold. And it was set to 73. And 73 for me is like 89. And that's because I'm having my own personal weather patterns. And I think a few of you might understand what I'm talking about. So I can't take it too hot. Okay, so I'm going to color just right at the base of each of these flowers. See what I'm doing there? Like that little V. And I don't know, I'm going to try just showing you here because I don't know which camera is better on these lives. I got a big notification tonight on both YouTube and Facebook when I tried to make this go live that said, just so you know, we're experiencing much more traffic than usual, so your live broadcast may be more pixelated or not as good. I thought, ugh. But I hope you guys can see me and hear well enough. And I know a lot of you like my other kinds of videos, and I definitely am going to have more of those coming. Okay, so you can see I just colored close to the bases of those flowers. You guys laughing at me because of my own personal weather? Yes, tropical moments. That's the perfect way to describe it. I'm having my own tropical moment, my own tropical vacay. Okay, so I'm just going to go again right under this petal. And then I'm going to take my blending stump and I'm going to dip it into the Gamsol. And then I'm going to start right on the color. Some people have problems because they start not on the color and they're like, I don't know why it's not blending, because you have to actually dissolve the wax a little bit. And then I'm going to keep going in a circular motion, and you can see it's getting lighter as I go toward the end of that petal. So this is kind of like Cheater's watercolor for people like me. And it's really easy to do. So it makes you look like you know what you're doing, which I think is really fun. So can you see that shading now that I have there? It's starting close to the dark is coming from close to the flower, and it gets lighter as it goes out. Okay. Wow, I need some lotion. Sorry about that dry arm. For anybody that didn't watch my last live, you missed my wig at the end. But it's still available to watch if you want. And then you can always go back into that if it's not dark enough, and you can add a little bit more darkness in there if you want to. Okay, so I'm going to do this part coming up. Are any of you guys coloring with me? I would love to know if you're coloring too, and we're just doing this together, or am I just alone here coloring and you guys are watching? It's okay, whatever you feel like doing, but I'm just curious if anybody else out there is playing along. The pencils that I'm using, for anybody who just joined me, the pencils that I'm using are Prismacolor pencils. There's also other kinds of pencils that this technique works with, the polychromos. I've even done this with Crayola. I actually used to do articles for an online website. And I used to use like everyday things to do paper crafting. And I used Crayola markers to do this technique in one of my tutorials. So you definitely, any kind of wax-based pencil, and you can even use this with crayons. So I'm going to finish up these dark spots here. Well, it's starting to get cooler in here. I never thought in a million years it would be like 30 degrees out, and I feel the need to put the air conditioner on. It's fun, isn't it? Okay. So one thing that I realized that I forgot to stock up on, and I don't know if any of you are experiencing this as well. Yes, I bought toilet paper. I mean, I didn't go crazy, but I have enough toilet paper and I have enough bread and I have some flour and some canned goods. But one thing that I forgot was dishwashing tablets or powder. You know, honestly, I'm not used to cooking this much. Usually we cook on the weekends. We like to make Italian food, or we do like Mexican night and stuff like that. But I have not cooked this much, and we are going through the dishes. Now, of course, I can hand wash dishes, but I'm also feeling the need to hoard soap. So I don't know. Might have to try to order some. It's not urgent, so I'm not worried about it if I don't get them, but it's just something that you don't think of. But we did play again with our bread machine, and we were able to make some more really good bread. And we're experiencing and playing with different types of, just different types of cuisine, cooking things that we've never cooked before, and having fun and trying to pass the time by learning new things. So for those of you that just joined me, I'd like to welcome you. I know that there are quite a few of you here. So far I know that the counts are different because on Facebook and on YouTube, the counts get delayed, and they also, they don't add both together, but I think we have about 900 people here. So that's pretty cool. So if you're just joining me, welcome to Friday night. This is Flashback Friday, and I'm using an old stamp set. The stamp set that I am using tonight is called All About You for the greeting, and for the flower, it's You Make Me Smile. So if you have either one of these stamp sets in your collection, you can make this along with me. Or if you have any flower stamp set, you can make something similar. So I'm just continuing to shade, and I will post this in the Facebook group, and I'll also put the pictures on my blog. I don't know if you guys saw, I put the ones from our Merry Monday on my blog so that you could see actual nice clear pictures. So again, I'm just that circular motion and then getting lighter as I get toward the edges of the petal. And this one, see, I don't know how to see light, so I just pick something and create lights and darks. And I'm good with that. But for those of you that know how to do all the light stuff, mad respect for you. My daughter, Alicia, is a trained artist, and she knows how to do that. She can create the look of shadows, and she knows exactly how to bring light source in from one angle or another angle. And I'm mesmerized by it, but I just don't have that skill. But I am a happy card maker that has fun making cards, and I have never, ever, since I started making cards, had somebody open the card and then send me a note back or a text or something saying, hey, I got your card, and I just want you to know that the light wasn't coming from the right angle, and I was really offended. That's never happened. People just love the cards. So some of you have sent me some cards, and I just wanted to say a huge thank you for that. That really means so much to me. I've posted them in my Instagram stories and on Facebook. You guys are so nice, and I really appreciate that. And if anybody does want to share a card or send one my way, you can send them to our store address, because Tom and I, like I said, we're the only ones going in, but we're trying to get in there and very, very slowly pack and pick your orders. So we're still trying to go. Milwaukee is under what they call a safer at home thing. It's different than shelter in place, like some of the states. So we're trying to figure out exactly what that means. We know we can't have employees in the store. We know we can't have customers in the store. We know we can't see other humans, just each other, because we live together. So we're kind of just seeing each other at work and at home. But we don't know if we'll get to a point where we're just not allowed to really leave the house except for necessities. So that is kind of what we're waiting to hear about. And if that's the case, we may have to shut it down. We will let you know if it gets to that point. See how easy this is, guys? This is really fun and really relaxing. But we're still going in. So we do get mail each day. The way it works is we pack up all your orders, and then the post office lady who picks up our mail, she's so sweet. We have our phone number on the glass door that she now has in her cell phone. And when she gets close, she calls and she says, "I'm on my way and I'll be there in a few minutes." So then Tom goes upstairs and he puts the mail out, and then he goes back inside. And then she rolls up and she takes all the packages out of the bin, and then she puts our mail into the bin, any mail that we get from you guys or any returns, things like that. And then we go upstairs after she's gone, we wait, and then we go get the bin and we use alcohol wipes and we wipe everything down. And then we do it all over again the next day. So that's kind of how we're doing it. So this is going to be green. I feel like these two should be green, even though I got a little pink on there. So one more flower over here, again, starting with the dark part down here. And then working my way lighter as I go up. You can see I haven't really re-dipped my blending stump. Probably should. You can actually create a little bit of texture in there too, just by kind of streaking little lines on there. But I don't know, can you guys see this really well in that camera? So I'm going to put it in this camera too. Don't know which one is better and how the signal's coming through. All right, and I'm checking on your comments here. Would you repost the names of the flower stamp set and saying? Absolutely. So the stamp set is You Make Me Smile. And that's the flower that I'm using. You Make Me Smile. And then the greeting came from a stamp set called All About You. I'm going to leave those right over here so you guys can see them. Yeah, so that is what we're doing at work. And we are constantly monitoring what our governor is saying and what our local officials are saying, because I think until we have some sort of national information that each little community, even in around here, is going to be a little bit different. Our governor said safer at home. And it's the only state that has a safer at home order. All the rest are stay at home or shelter in place. Safer at home just seems more like, well, we'd rather you stay home, but I don't know that we can make you. So we're not sure. We're just kind of confused, and I think everybody's a little confused by it. But we are really trying to do the right thing. So we have made sure that our staff is safe at home and they are all taken care of. And we miss them terribly. Oh my word. I got to tell you, if anybody that works at Village Paper and Ink or Gina K Designs, if you are watching right now, I love you. I miss you so much. You guys are amazing. You just do miraculous things, and I am not very good at them. You guys are amazing. So like Tom and I, we're trying, but we'll get maybe 40 orders out. And we think, wow, we did really good. And then we remember that the girls at work have gotten 200 orders out in a day. Or I think they've even gotten as many as 300 orders out in a day. And then we feel really slow and pokey. But we have such a great staff because we've got these amazing people that make product. So our stamp sets come and they package them and label them and get them all ready. And our dies come in, and our dies are loose. So they come in, and then our packaging department, they get them on the magnets and all of that. And then they package them so our pickers can keep picking and our packers can keep packing. And it's just Tom and I, so something that we have to stop, and we have to make new product. So that's where it gets a little bit tricky. All right, let's see. I have a green here. I'm going to try this. So we apologize for being slow, but we really, really appreciate your orders because, again, you're keeping us going. So thank you. I think this green, I like this green because it feels more jelly bean green to me, and I love that color, but I don't know if it's the right green for the moment. So I'm going to use a new blending stump, and I'm just going to clean this one a little bit because it's got some red on it. And then I'm going to see what these greens do when I blend them. So this one, yeah, it's really bright. That one feels better. What do you guys think? Let me see if I can see your comments. I think this one is fun and it's bright and vibrant, but I think this one might be a little more subtle. I don't know though. Could I do them both? See, I'm not good at that. So I'm thinking I'm going to stick with one, but let me just look and see, because I have one more green here that I should probably try before we all make our final decision. This is a very brown green. It's almost like golden green. I don't know. It's kind of mustardy. Yeah, darker. Okay. I'm going to go with the darker one. Definitely darker. Okay. All right. Darker one. Thank you. So I'm going to use the darker one, and the name of the darker one is Kelly Green. So let me sharpen that up. And we'll start working on the green. Yes, I think the governor is right. I just wish people would. Oh, and that comment just scrolled right by. Let's see here. The governor, right, Patricia said, I just wish people would listen to him. Some in Kenosha think it's time for fun. I know it is a little bit frustrating when they do the, safer at home, shelter in place, and then you see people all gathered together in the park and stuff. I guess people are going stir crazy, but that really defeats the purpose. So you're so much better off staying at home and making cards, I think. So I'm going with that. I'll pack orders and go home and make cards. That's all we do, back and forth. Yeah, you guys are right. I like this one better. It's much softer and it's not like neon-y. Not that I don't like neon, because you guys know I'm really into neon right now. But I think this is right for these this look, these flowers. All right, so I'm just pulling this color from the bottoms of each of these segments of the leaves. And I like to really put a decent amount of color there so that I have wax to dissolve. Yeah, this is fun. So this card might take the whole time, because I am a slow colorer. But the other one that I was going to do was that hydrangea, and I was going to do that in either blues or purples. So I might do that off screen after the live, and then I'll post them. But I'll definitely post this one in the meantime. So tomorrow is Saturday, and I don't know how long you guys have been kind of sheltering in place, but it does feel like last week was a year long. I have a couple thoughts about all of that, though. Let me find where I put my thoughts today. Maybe we can discuss them. So one thought that I had, and that I saw some information about. I guess I saw this printed somewhere. And, a lot of the quotes, somebody asked me in the last live, who's that quote by? I don't know. It didn't have a person's name. It was just a block with text on it that went by on my Facebook feed. And I was just reiterating that. So I apologize if I don't tell you who the quote is by. It's because I really don't know. One of the quotes I saw is, the only way to feel happy is to stop worrying about things which are beyond your power of will. And I thought about that and I thought, yeah, a lot of the stuff that I am really worried about is stuff that I absolutely have no control over. And so what I'm doing is, the little bit of happiness that I could be having in that moment, maybe making a card, maybe FaceTiming with a friend, maybe sitting with my daughter and having a cup of coffee, or, hanging out with Tom and just kind of laughing and talking. I'm spending that time all tensed up and worrying. But that's not changing the situation. If worrying could change the world, come on, we'd have the best world in the world, the best world in the world, because all of us, especially those of us out there that are moms and aunts and grandmas and fur baby moms, I mean, we've all worried ourselves sick over things that a lot of it never happens. So maybe truly the only way to be happy is to kind of let go of the things that we can't control. Just focus on what we can control and try not to get too stressed out about the things we can't control. Because look at us. We're all here, right? We're all here. And I know some of you are, I saw a sad comment that my granddaughter cries when we FaceTime, and I know that she misses you, but you're here and you can FaceTime with her, and that's a good thing. So that's what we're going to have to start focusing on, and we're going to have to pull each other up, because the other day I had probably the worst day I've had in a long time. And I have good days and I have bad days. And that's not weird. That's normal, right? We all have good days and bad days. But when we have those bad days, we need to have our people that we contact. And that might be our Facebook group, where you come into the Facebook group and you say, I'm having a bad day. Yes, give it over to God. Absolutely. The serenity prayer is great. Or just maybe go into the Facebook group and say, I'm having a bad day, guys. What are you making? Show me some of the cards that you're making. And then people will start, oh, I'm sorry. I'm here for you. And you start feeling that sense of wonderful community that we have. And all of a sudden, you're not alone anymore. There are people that are thinking about you, and you're engaging, and you're talking about card making. And then all of a sudden you're sitting there and you're making a card. The other thing is, for those of you who maybe are a little bit more like me, I am better when I'm doing something. I like to have a project, and I like to be doing something, especially if it's something that we can do for somebody else. I know that there are people that are making masks, and I've heard lots of mixed things on the internet where people aren't taking masks. And then I see nurses posting masks and saying, thank you so much, because we are taking masks. And I do think that they're saving the real high-powered masks for the people that are working with critically ill patients. But, if you are maybe a person that's just checking patients in at a regular doctor's office, maybe those doctor's offices have turned over those supplies to the local hospitals and need something. So you can find a place that will want those masks. Maybe even grocery stores. People that are working in grocery stores might love to have a handmade mask when they're working. So some people are sewing, and that reduces their stress. Card makers, I know, are making cards, and they are creating beautiful things for people to brighten up their day, whether they're making them for nurses and doctors, or they're just making them for their friends that they know from online who are just stressing out. Maybe they have friends that are sick. They're getting better, but they're sick, and they want to let them know that they're thinking about them, because it must be very difficult to be in a nursing home or be sick in the hospital and you can't have people coming and visiting you. So maybe we can use our card making as a way to not only help somebody else, but help ourselves get through those stressful feelings. Okay, my green is going faster than my pink. I think I'm on a roll here. And I do thank you guys for picking this green because I love it. It's the perfect one. Betty's making masks. Okay, each facility, Betty said each facility. Where'd your comment go, Betty? I lost it. Each facility seems to have different requirements. Children's Hospital has something on their website. Oh, that's good to know. So I know every city has a children's hospital. Maybe even, maybe they're even giving them to the kids. So maybe if you are a quilter and you have all kinds of fun quilting fabrics, wouldn't that be nice too if even in the pediatric offices, the regular doctor's offices, if they've turned over their masks to the hospitals and they can use this just for kids that come in for, you know, regular things that don't require masks, that the nurses could be wearing fun, bright colored masks. Maybe the kids would love to see that, and that would make them feel happy. Rainbow masks. I'll check out Children's Hospital because I sew as well, and I really like to sew. I don't really have time right now to sew, but if we go from safer at home to don't leave your house, then I'll have more time and I will be able to sew. So I'm going to put a little color right in the center. I'm just going to use a little bit of a yellowy orange in there, something like this. Can't even really see that. There, it's a little brighter. And I'm just going to add a little bit of color in there to the center. I'm not going to worry too much about blending it. I might actually use my green blending stump just to tone it down a little bit and add a little bit of green tint to it. There we go. Okay. So that flower is colored, ready to go. I'll also hold it up. Ooh, sorry, my overhead. I'll hold it up this way. This light is a little whiter. I don't know if it's too bleached out, but I can see it pretty well on this camera too. So yes, veterinarians, that's a great idea. A lot of the veterinarians are donating their masks to hospitals, and then they can utilize some of those types of masks. That's great. Okay, so let's put this card together and see how it turned out. I'm going to grab some of my tape here. I don't have any tape left there, and my light's in the way. I can't even. All right, I'll use this little thermo web tape. I have this little tiny thermo web tape runner. It was the closest one that I could get out of the drawer. So Flashback Friday, using old stamp sets to make a pretty card. And then we'll put that onto the bubble gum. Oh, yeah. Yes, you caught me live, Dory. Good to see you. I know there's so many of you in here now. If those of you who are joining me on the replay, I want to thank you for watching the replay. I learned that I should say that right in the beginning, that you may be watching me on replay, but I'm kind of new at doing all these lives. I've done a few, but not a lot. So there's my finished card. Yeah. All right, we'll show that again up here, just in case. You can see a little bit more of a bluish tint. So I was upset the other day because I was live and I was looking at the little icons, you know, the little thumbs up, hearts, and the smiles, and there were some angry faces. And I thought, oh, I'm so sad. Why are people angry? And then somebody told me later that people are doing that live. So if you say something like, people aren't sheltering in place at home, people are like, yeah, I'm mad about that too. And they're hitting the angry face. And then I'm talking about something different. And I look up and I see the angry face. And so I know you guys are just responding to what I'm saying. So I get it now. Okay. So let's see. So another quote that I saw was, there are so many things that we worried about in the past that have robbed us of the time we could have been happy. And some of them never happened. Most of them never happened. So I thought that was a great quote. So we are worrying about a lot of the what ifs, right? And if we can kind of prevent ourselves from doing that and just worry about, not even worry, but just work on the things that we control, that's probably really good. Okay, let's see. This is what I was talking about later, and this is actually a quote that I saw, and it was by Ziggy Marley, and I love it. Ziggy said, doing something that is productive is a great way to alleviate stress. So making cards, sewing, organizing, and preparing meals. One thing I was thinking of is I bought like 3 dozen eggs. And then I thought, okay, I like to eat eggs, but I don't eat them that much. And some of them might go bad. So something that I can do when I'm feeling stressed to be busy is I can make little egg patties ahead of time, and then I can freeze them. And then when I need one, I can pull it out, pop it in the microwave, and put it between 2 pieces of bread and make an egg sandwich. So I don't have to worry about the eggs going bad. I can just make them now and freeze them. I mean, I've eaten frozen breakfast sandwiches, so I know you can freeze an egg. So I think that'll be something that I do to kind of calm myself when I feel really, really worried. Of course, Teddy Roosevelt said, do what you can do with what you got where you are. And that's what we're all doing, right? We're doing what we can do with what we got right now, where we are. And then the thought that I'd like to leave you with tonight, because I like to leave you with one thought, and then I'll post it on my Facebook page later or tomorrow. This one really made me feel good, and it made me think that I have a lot of control. Is you may not have control of your thoughts, but just don't let your thoughts control you. I really like that, because we can't help. Sometimes we think and we worry about things, but if they start to control us and get out of hand, that's when things get really bad, right? Fear, let's see. I'm trying to read your comments here and they're going by, and I really appreciate that. Yes, bloom where you're planted. I like that. That's what I'm going to be planting. So for those of you that joined me just a little while ago, I started my live tonight saying that I bought some seeds and some potting soil and some little cups, and I'm going to try to grow some things because I have a little bit of time to do that. So that's another little hobby that I've always had. This is like a great time to try hobbies that always wanted to try and never had the time to. Now we're sitting home, we have time. Let's get it. Let's do it. Okay, so you don't have to control your thoughts. Just don't let your thoughts control you. Well, you guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I really love hanging out with you. Monday nights, we're going to do Merry Monday, so we'll be making Christmas cards and holiday cards on Mondays. Wednesday, and Alicia had a really good point, because she saw my banner and she goes, Mom, you could call it Whimsical Wednesday, because I called it Wednesday Whimsy. And I don't know why I didn't flip it around, but I think I like Whimsical Wednesday better. So Monday is Merry Monday. We're doing some Wednesday Whimsy. That means it could be anything. It could be flock and foil and gel. It could be some kind of alcohol inks and sprays. I don't know. It's just whimsy wherever the wind blows me that morning. That's what I'm going to put together. And then Friday is Flashback Friday. We're going to make a card using old Gina K design stamp sets. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I will try to get on this weekend if I can. If not, I will definitely see you Monday. You guys take care and love you so much. Bye-bye.